A very warm welcome to APSC bro. Today we are going to continue with our new series in which we'll be discussing important current affairs based questions from both mains and prelims point of view. So in this question video we'll be discussing the Russian-Ukraine war and the Indian perspective on this war through mains as well as prelims. So we'll be discussing the mains answer writing in the beginning, and then we'll be doing MCQ related to this conflict at the end of the video. So for this we have jotted down two questions which may be asked in both UPSC and APSC prelims, like, with the growing imminent threat of war and rebalancing of power after the Russia-Ukraine conflict, what should be the India's response? So what it is being asked, that the Russian-Ukraine war that has been going on for the last 1 year, it is going to play a role in the rebalancing of power in the global scenario. Now, what should be the India's response? Should it condemn the war? Should it side with Ukraine? Should it side with Russia? So this is being asked. Next question: what is India's stand on Russia-Ukraine crisis? What impact will it have on our global stance? So actually, both the questions, though framed differently, are asking you the same question. That is, what is the Russian-Ukraine war? What India's stand on this war? How is Indian putting its stand, whether it is supporting the West or Russia, and how India's stand is going to impact its global position? So this is being asked. So as we have discussed before, your answer for the mains examinations should include three parts. Introduction. In this question, in the introduction, you have to just write the factual details of the war. Okay, just simple facts. Second, in the body you have to write exactly what is being asked in the question. That is, what is India's stand on this war, and what this stand of India is going to impact in its global position. Okay. Next, in the conclusion, always give a way forward, like how India can move forward in this situation and how positively it can bring some inputs out of this. Okay, so this will be your answer for the means. Let us discuss. In the beginning, in the very start, just write some factual details of the war, like when it started. It started in February 2022, and why this started. So this Ukraine-Russian war basically started, it got sparked in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine, okay, following a referendum. It also concluded a referendum in which the Crimean people voted for its inclusion into Russia, and Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine. And from that point onwards, there had been tension between the two countries. Okay. Next, this entire war or this entire scenario has its origin from the Cold War situation between the West and Russia, in which led to the degeneration of USSR. Yes, Ukraine was originally a part of USSR. Another important reason for this Russian-Ukraine war is that recently Ukraine bid for NATO membership, and now Russia will never want NATO to reach its doorsteps, and hence, as a retaliation, it has started this war. Moreover, Russia also has interest in the Black Sea, and because of all these reasons, the Russian and Ukraine war is going on. Now, write these things briefly in your introduction, like why, when this war started, why this started. Okay. Now, this will be an introduction to the question. Now, in the body of the question, you have been asked what is India's stand on it, like whom is India supporting, right, and what is impact. So first you have to write what is the India's stand. So you write that India's stand is a balanced approach. India is neither supporting Russia nor supporting uh, Ukraine. It has abstained itself from any vote that is against Russia. It has not voted against Russia in any of the forums, but it has also condemned the war and the killing of innocent people. So it is saying don't go to war, but at the same time, it is also not opposing Russia. So India is following a balanced approach. It is neither siding the West nor siding the East, that is Russia. Okay. Now, to give a like brief discussion on what is India's stand, you can refer to certain facts, like there was a US sponsored resolution against Russia in the United Nations Security Council, and India did not vote in this. Again, there was a resolution in United Nations General Assembly. Again, India did not vote in this. There was also a resolution in the International Atomic Energy Agency, which was related to the safety of the four nuclear power stations and a number of nuclear waste sites, including Chernobyl, after Russia had seized its control. Now, in this, all four nuclear power stations Russia had captured and taken under control. After that, the IAEA had taken a resolution. So now we know what is India's stand. That is, it is neither supporting the war, neither supporting Russia nor voting against it. So India is taking a balanced approach. Now you have to write why India is taking such an approach. Now to do this, you have to understand this, that India's response to Russian invasion of Ukraine, in which it has condemned the civilian killings, but without any name calling. That it is not calling out names. Ki, no, Russia is doing bad. He's not saying. It's just saying that war should not happen, civilians should not die, but it is not calling any names. Neither it is participating in any UN votes. Now, this stand of India is not a new one. India has always historically taken this neutral stand in all East-West conflicts. Okay. Now, if we go back previously, you see the non-aligned movement, which was India was a pioneer in this. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru started this non-aligned movement, in which it said that the developing countries like India should not side with any of the two powers. Like there were two global powers, like the West and the East. East, that is Russia, USSR. So India was following the non-aligned movement, in which it was not siding with any of them and following a neutral path. So this, now what the India stand is today for Russian-Ukraine war is something historical. Okay. Now, if you see, Russian troops were stationed in Hungary during the Hungarian Revolution of 1956, but India did not condemn. Okay. The balanced approach has continued to guide India's approach to conflicts, be it Soviet interventions in Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, or Afghanistan, or American invasion of Iraq. India has always followed a neutral approach. So this is not new for India. Okay. Now, if you see what is the benefit of this, now the benefit of this is that India and Russia they are very old friends. Russia remains India's biggest time-tested friend. Russia has contributed over 46% of India's defense needs. There is demand for diversifying its source of defense, but it would take time. So India is dependent on Russia for its defense needs. Moreover, when Russian ties with China are deepening, India should retain its leverage over Russia through existing ties. So India cannot afford to lose its friend in Russia, because Russia and China are friends, and India needs Russia if it has to counter China. So hence, by not voting against Russia, India is maintaining its friendship with Russia, which is very important. Next thing, by not opposing what West is doing, what is India doing is that the US, the European Union, and UK are all vital partners, and India's relationship with each of them and the Western world in general is very good. So India cannot afford to take a side. Okay, and hence it is following a neutral path. India has relied on Western support as it deals with the aggression of China. The elevation of the Quad, that is US, Australia, India, and Japan, is to the summit level is very important for India, and India has to continue doing that. Recently, the West has also been supportive to India's aim to contain Pakistan's support for cross-border terrorism. Hence, India is maintaining a very cordial relationship with both Russia and the West, and hence the neutral stance of India is very important, because it cannot afford to lose either of them. Now we have discussed all the important things related to India's stand. Now you have to conclude the question. In the conclusion, you have to say, for peace and a resolution to the conflict. Now, Jawaharlal Nehru in 1957, during Soviet intervention in Hungary, said that it does not help calling names and condemning any power. That is, if you condemn any power or call out names, ki Russia is doing bad, West is doing bad, it simply does more harm than benefit, and hence it is not a good practice. So India should not call out names, neither take a side. India should stick to its pragmatic neutrality, rooted in realism, and continue to push for a practical solution to the Ukraine crisis. Like this, with a positive note, you can end your question. Now, this far we have discussed what you can write if any question comes in mains. So this is a mains answer writing practice. Next, few questions MCQ based which can be asked from the recent Russian-Ukraine war. Like the most recent country to join NATO is, the answer is Finland. Now this development happened after the Russian-Ukraine war. So this is important. Next, which Ukrainian region has not been annexed by Russia till now? Crimea, Kiev, Donetsk, Kherson. The answer is Kiev. That is the capital of Ukraine. All the other three, was annexed before in 2014. The other two, C and D, has been recently annexed during this Russian aggression. Okay, so these are the MCQs that we have picked up from the Russian-Ukraine war. I hope this video is helpful for you. Please support us, like and subscribe the channel. Help us to help you better. Share it with your friends and families so that we can get more support. Thank you so much.